Talks. I am Sean Stone, and joining me here in studio is RT correspondent Ashley Banks. Thank you for joining us, Ashley. So to start out with, obviously, there's 24,000 prisoners that have missed work thus far as part of this strike. They're prisoners from up to 24 states that have pledged to join in the strike, and currently it seems that prisoners from 9 of those states are actually participating. And just as far as why they're striking, obviously you can argue that the state, once these people have been in prison, the state has a right to force them to work. They are enslaved in a sense as prisoners, but corporations are also profiting and exploiting their work. Corporations such as Walmart, Whole Foods, Starbucks, Verizon, McDonald's, Victoria's Secret, many more are using slave labor, and prisoners are being paid pennies on the hour for their work. So while we can argue that work does reduce recidivism rates, it does seem that ultimately most prisoners are leaving the prison system with inadequate economic means available to them when they return to normal life, thus the strikes. And these current strikes began on September 9th, which is the 45th anniversary of the Attica uprising. So please start by reminding us what the Attica prison uprising was all about.
Yeah, so for starters, this is the biggest prison strike that we are seeing here in U.S. history. The strike took place, it started on September 9th, 2016, which was the 45th anniversary of the Attica uprising. Now, the Attica uprising took place in 1971. It came on the heels of the 60s, when racial disparities were taking place, police brutality was there against African Americans, which we still see today. But there were nearly 1,300 men that were at this Attica facility, and they were just upset. They were like, enough is enough, so they decided they were going to protest. Now, they had about 27 demands, and 3 of their demands was to end police brutality, they wanted fair visitation rights, and to end slave labor, which we are talking about today. Now, they protested over the course of 4 days. Now, on the 4th day, law enforcement had enough. So they sent about 600 men into the facility. They raided the facility, and they ended up killing 39 men, including inmates and prison guards. Now, after these men were shot, some were injured, about 128 were injured, 39 died. And after this, the law enforcement that was sent in, they decided, we're going to continue to torture those who survived. They tortured them like they were terrorists. So the organizers of today's prison strike, they decided this would be great to have it on September 9th, since this is a very important day in history. Now, they created an announcement that they sent out before they decided this was going to be the day that they were going to protest on, but they sent it to prisons and outside of prisons across the country, to as many people as they could, so that they could have a big effort for this. I want to read you an excerpt from that. It said, 45 years after Attica, the waves of change are returning to America's prisons. This September, we hope to coordinate and generalize these protests to build them into a single tidal shift that the American prison system cannot ignore or withstand. We hope to end prison slavery by making it impossible, by refusing to be slaves any longer. So these strikers, once again, their main demand is to end slave labor.